The Starbucks security camera recorded everything. 9:43, retired Colonel Bradley reading his book. 9:45, young couple sits at the next table. 9:47, Bradley's facial expression changes because the woman had said to the man, "The North Star is shining," and the man had replied, "When the moon is full." Bradley knew these codes. Nitten Otini, Berlin. Same codes, same activation. But this wasn't Berlin, it was Chicago, and the target was probably the Federal Reserve Building 3 blocks away. Welcome to Retired People Stories. Before we share this incredible story of detection and prevention, let us know in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe retired heroes are still on duty in civilian life, hit that subscribe button and support our channel. Because some soldiers retire, but trained ears never go deaf. Tuesday morning, March 21st, Starbucks on Michigan Avenue, Chicago. Spring had arrived, the weather was mild, people were grabbing their coffee and rushing to work. Colonel Thomas Bradley, 68 years old, retired military intelligence cryptology specialist. 32 years with NSA and Army intelligence, the darkest days of the Cold War, Berlin, Moscow, Havana, codes, ciphers, secret messages, thousands of hours of listening, code-breaking, pattern analysis. He'd retired 4 years ago, settled in Chicago. His wife Ellen had passed 2 years ago. He was alone but had his routine. Every Tuesday morning, same Starbucks, same corner table, same Americano, same reading hour. That morning, he was reading an old John le Carré novel, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Ironic choice. 9:43. Bradley was in Chapter 3. Good chapter. Smiley character was just breaking a code when 9:45. Door opened. A young couple entered. 25 to 30 years old. Woman blonde, tall, professionally dressed. Man dark-haired, athletic build, casual. They sat at the table next to Bradley. 1.5 meters distance, normal, routine. Thousands of couples in Chicago. They ordered coffee, latte and cappuccino, started talking. "Nice weather today," the woman said. "Yes, spring finally arrived," the man said. "Normal." Then the woman continued. "The North Star is shining." 9:47. Bradley's facial expression changed. The book froze in his hands. The man replied, "When the moon is full." Bradley's heart nearly stopped. He knew these codes. 1989, Berlin, 2 kilometers east of Checkpoint Charlie. A secret safe house. Meeting with East German agent. Same codes. The North Star is shining. Operation active. When the moon is full. Target confirmed. This was Cold War code. Code that should have been deactivated 30 years ago. Bradley slowly lowered his book, picked up his coffee cup, pretended to sip, but he was listening. Woman. "Is our friend well?" Man. "Yes, haven't seen him in 15 years, but he's good." 15th code number. Bradley's brain was automatically decoding. Woman. "Should we bring him a gift?" Man. "Sure, make it a blue package. Blue, federal building." Bradley pulled out his phone, pretended to text, actually recording. Woman. "What time should we go?" Man. 14:45 would be good. 14:45, military time, precise time. Woman. "Which door?" Man. "Northeast, less crowded." Bradley's hand was trembling. Federal Reserve Building was 3 blocks away. Northeast door was staff entrance, less security. This was an attack plan. Bradley stood up, pretended to go to the restroom, actually repositioning, to hear better. Woman pulled out phone, looked at a photo, showed the man. "Here's the map," she said. Man looked. 3rd point is better. Bradley couldn't see but could guess. Building plan, entry points, emergency. Bradley pulled out phone in the restroom. An old number, hadn't used in 32 years but still memorized. NSA, emergency line. Code 7 Alpha Tango, retired Colonel Bradley, ID 445-892-Delta. "Colonel Bradley, system shows you as inactive. Active threat, Chicago Federal Reserve, 1445, Cold War activation code being used. Hold, connecting." 30 seconds later, familiar voice. Tom? Tom Bradley? Mike? Mike Harrison? Yes, Tom. Haven't heard your voice in 15 years. What's happening? I'm at Starbucks, Michigan Avenue. 2 people using Cold War code, North Star Protocol. Silence. That code was canceled in 1991, Tom. I know, but they're using it and talking about Federal Reserve. Address? 235 Michigan. Now, we're coming. You stay there. Watch. Bradley left the restroom, returned to his seat. Couple still talking. Woman? Backup plan? Man? No need. Everything's ready. Woman checked her watch. 4 hours. Bradley opened his book, pretended to read, but actually taking notes on the book's margin. Small, coded, 10:15. 2 black SUVs pulled up to the cafe, not visible from inside, but Bradley recognized. Standard FBI vehicles. Nobody entered. They were waiting. 10:20. Woman stood up. Shall we go? Man stood too. Let's go. They went to the register. Paid, cash, no trace, headed for the door. Bradley stood too, took his book, followed them, 10 meters behind. They exited, turned left, toward Federal Reserve. And that's when it happened. 8 FBI agents appeared, silent, professional, surrounded the couple. FBI, hands up! Woman was shocked. Man tried to run, mistake. An agent tackled. Man went down, handcuffs. Woman didn't resist. But Bradley noticed something. Woman was calm. Too calm. Too calm for someone caught. Agent Harrison approached Bradley. Tom, good work. But who are these people? I don't know Mike, but the codes are real. 1989 Berlin Protocol. They were interrogating the woman. ID check. Then an agent's face changed, looked at Bradley. Colonel, this woman isn't in the system. What do you mean? Fingerprints, facial recognition? Nothing. Ghost. Man was the same. Ghost. Harrison took a call, talked, face serious. Tom, they're evacuating Federal Reserve, sent bomb squad. Bomb? Don't know, but without your warning? 1445, Federal Reserve building front, bomb disposal unit, dogs, scanning, and they found it. Northeast door, staff entrance, in janitor's closet, 20 kilos C4, timer 1445. Bradley was right. FBI headquarters, interrogation room, woman sitting, calm, not talking. Bradley watching through glass, Harrison beside him. Tom, this woman is trained, professional. But who's she working for? Bradley thought. Codes are old, Cold War, maybe sleeper cell. After 30 years, maybe they never slept. Hours later, man talked, pressure, fatigue, broke. We were just couriers, delivered the message. To whom? Don't know, just said the codes, someone would hear. Who? I don't know. Bradley understood. Cell system. Courier delivers message. Someone else receives, someone else executes. Nobody knows anybody. What about the bomb? What bomb? Man didn't know about bomb, really. Bradley turned to Harrison. Mike, this is bigger. Cafe was trigger point. Someone else heard the codes. Who? Bradley thought. Starbucks, morning. Who was there? Security camera footage reviewed. 09, 45, 10:20, 17 customers, 3 employees, all checked and found. Barista, 22-year-old college student David Miller, regular kid, but he wasn't. Real name Dmitry Volkov. Parents fled Soviets in 1985, but didn't actually flee, were sent. Sleeper agents. David Dmitry had heard the codes and triggered. He'd planted the bomb, disguised as janitor, caught, confessed. I just did my duty. My family waited 40 years. I was born, grew up, waited, code came, I did it. 40-year plan. Cold War hadn't ended for some. Bradley was rewarded, quietly, secretly, hero even in retirement. Press conference. FBI director spoke. Today we prevented a major catastrophe in Chicago, thanks to an alert citizen. Bradley's name wasn't given. He didn't want it. I was just having coffee, he said, but NSA knew, CIA knew, FBI knew. Tom Bradley, 68 years old, retired, but ears still listening, eyes still watching, brain still breaking codes. Next Tuesday, Same Starbucks, same corner table, same Americano, new barista, young girl. Good morning, sir. The usual? Yes. You like reading? Bradley smiled. Yes, but I like listening more. Girl laughed, thought it was a joke. But Bradley was serious, opened his book, Le Carré, same page, where he left off, but ears open, always open, because he knew. Somewhere, someone was still speaking in code, and someone had to listen, understand, stop them. That day, 3,000 people worked at Federal Reserve. All went home, had dinner with families, kissed their children, thanks to Tom Bradley. Ellen lay in her grave. Bradley visited every Sunday. Ellen, he said that Sunday, still on duty, retired but on duty. Today I saved 3,000 people, for you, for us, for our country. The gravestone was silent, but Bradley knew. Ellen would understand. Ellen always understood. 32 years of marriage, every night coming home late, every night I can't say answer, every night silence, but Ellen had understood and supported. Now Ellen was gone. But duty continued. Chicago Tribune wrote next day, FBI prevents Federal Reserve attack. Details classified. Nobody mentioned Bradley, nobody knew, but that corner table at Starbucks was now known as Colonel's Table. Among employees, not official, but everyone knew. Tuesday mornings that table was reserved for the old man, reading books, drinking coffee, but actually listening, protecting, waiting, ready. 6 months later, Bradley caught another code. Different cafe, Russian this time. Old KGB protocol, reported again, prevented again. Nobody knew. Bradley didn't want it. I'm just a retired soldier, he said. My duty isn't over. And it wouldn't be, until his last breath, because some soldiers retire, but duty doesn't die. Country remains, and trained ears always listen, always. The truth is, in every coffee shop, in every public space, in every gathering place across America, there are Thomas Bradleys. Men and women who spent decades learning to hear what others miss. They don't wear uniforms anymore. They don't carry badges. They look like any other retiree reading a book. But their training remains. Their instincts stay sharp. Their ears still catch the wrong note in the symphony of normal conversation. Bradley proved something that March morning at Starbucks. He proved that retirement is just a classification, that vigilance is eternal, that once you've been trained to listen for danger, you never really stop. At 68, with hearing aids in both ears and reading glasses perched on his nose, he was more valuable to national security than any electronic surveillance, because he had something technology can't replicate. 32 years of knowing exactly what enemy communication sounds like when it's pretending to be casual conversation. The Federal Reserve Building still stands. 3,000 people still work there. They don't know Tom Bradley's name. They don't know they were 5 hours from death. But they're alive. Because one Tuesday morning, a retired colonel heard something wrong in a coffee shop conversation, heard codes that should have been dead for 30 years, and acted. Today, Bradley still goes to the same Starbucks, still sits at the same corner table, still reads his books, but really he's listening. Always listening, because that's what guardians do. They never really retire. They just change their watch post from a military base to a coffee shop. And they keep listening. Forever.